So we have
Yeah.
seen this massive shift in our ESL industry. Do you still like recruit for companies, or have you shifted your focus kind of 100%?
Yeah, no, I don't really. I mean, I do have a few companies that I recruit for on a very small passive scale based on people that reach out to some of my older videos and are still just not really ready for independent teaching and just kind of want that safe first step into figuring all this stuff out. I still think getting on with a company while the pay is really low is good for some people who want to just get started and are a little bit cautious about building a full business out of it. But I always say build something of your own on the side if you are going to go that route. But yes, I do recruit for a couple of companies, and I'm always looking for the good companies that are. Yeah, I'm always looking for the good companies that are worth working for, not the ones that are real garbage that don't pay anything and are discriminatory in their hiring practices and things like that. I don't like to get on board with those companies, but there are still some good ones out there. It's just harder to find.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's good because whomever you're recommending has to sort of support your brand too, and your brand isn't about pushing, whatever to the last drop. It's about quality.
Exactly. For sure. So
to talk a little bit more about diversifying, one of the big goals that you're setting out into the ESL world at the moment is to diversify and to stretch yourself as a teacher to start establishing freelance clients. So do you think that teachers should consider going solo?
Yeah, I mean, it's if they haven't already, I think that it's definitely something to consider because it is a great opportunity. But I would also say that it's not necessarily for everybody, right? Not everything is for everybody. So it's something that if you are, especially if you're an online teacher and you really love this type of work, then when you experience the freedom of being able to do it on your own, it's so empowering for yourself because you realize that there's so much potential out there for increasing your income and reaching more students, and most importantly, being in control of all of the moving pieces. I just posted on my Instagram today a comparison, like online company versus freelance teaching. And I thought about the things that I miss about companies, and there's a list of them. I do miss a lot of things about them. But there's a lot of hard parts of going solo, but the positive outweighs what I miss, and I feel more fulfilled definitely going solo.
Right. So who do you think is the perfect teacher for this opportunity?
Well, someone that has thought about it, but has changed their mind because they are maybe experiencing fear, doubt, confusion around, getting into it. Because a lot of times teachers, I think, will feel those emotions and change their mind and just get overwhelmed with, putting all the pieces together. So I think that it's important that they don't totally discount that they are capable of doing it, and that it is something that's possible for them. I believe that everybody can do it. It's just, a lot of it is mindset as to who is willing to take that step and take a risk and on themselves. Yeah. So, the perfect person to do it. I mean, I think if you've got a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit in you and you've maybe always wanted to do your own thing, then maybe that's the right person, someone who's
this is your chance for sure.
Yeah.
And there are people out there to help. So, but what are some of the common issues that teachers do face when they're trying to start up as freelance?
Oh gosh, so many. I mean, when you're doing it on your own, you all of a sudden have to be the marketer, the HR department, the CEO, the content creator. Like, you're doing all these things, and maybe you've never done those things before. So depending on people's skill sets, like I find creating content fairly easy. I find making videos, fairly easy after doing it for a while. I find dealing with prices a little bit easier now because I have sold my own things before. So everyone comes into it with different skill sets, and you're going to have different strengths and weaknesses. So,
Right. So it's basically wearing many hats, isn't it? And
yeah,
learning
but
to
ultimately,
improve those bit.
yeah. And going back to what I was saying before, that fear, I think a lot of people experience the fear. It's scary to do it, right? The uncertainty of like, well, what if it doesn't work? And the confusion of like, wow, there's so many things I have to think about now as an independent teacher, how do I do that? Like, I just have never priced my own things before. I've never
Yeah.
marketed myself. So
Having
there's those.
having people to ask too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
That's where you come in, because after much sort of anticipation and request, I think, within the groups, you've decided to run your third cohort of the launch course. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah. So it is,
Woo!
honestly, I get so excited talking about the course because it turned into and morphed into something that I had never really imagined. Like I saw a need that teachers were struggling with, the sort of roadmap, and I knew that I had put those pieces together fairly successfully and
Yeah.
had a lot of confidence around doing it. So I put it out there to, kind of show people what I was doing, help people with the A to Z of it all. And then just the community that was created from it is just amazing. And yeah, it's just evolved and it's so much fun. And I will say about courses though, if I can, you know, I am sure you do as well, Crystal. You see courses come along all the time, right? Like in your inbox, you might sign up for something for free. All of a sudden, that person's a coach
Yeah.
and they've got a course for you. And there's definitely, like, I don't say that everybody should take my course. Absolutely not. Like, there are courses that have come across, like, I will probably never take a YouTube course, for example, because I just feel like I do what I do and I like what I do. And I don't feel like I'm, not that I know it all, but I wouldn't necessarily invest in that because that's not an area that I feel stuck in that I want to develop.
Right. Okay.
Take an example, like if a good Instagram course came along, I might consider it because that's an area that I struggle in and
Me
I want to
too.
learn more about. Okay, let's take a course together.
Definitely.
But and so some people have figured out the independent teaching thing on their own, and there's so much free stuff out there that you really could go and figure out, like, okay, how do I accept payments? How do I set up how do I find curriculum? How do I, schedule parents? How do I market myself? Like, there's so much free content out there. But what courses do is they provide someone's full roadmap from A to Z without going and choosing and figuring out, like, who do I follow? Who do I listen to?
Right.
This person is someone that I trust. Maybe they've given me something for free before and they've helped me with something. So yeah, let's see what they got. So in that case, I think a course is good to take when maybe you're struggling with something and you just can't move forward. It's not that you can't, it's just that you hit too many roadblocks. And so you decide not to move forward. And that's when I think a course or a coach or somebody can say, hey, like, I'm going to hold your hand for this period of time. You have my unending support. We're going to help you get these things figured out before.
Yeah. Well, I think
that's worth gold,
twofold is the advantage, really, because you've got somebody who's consolidating all the information and has been there and knows what answers you need to come up with and what questions you need to ask. And secondly, has actually proven themselves in some way to know what they're talking about. Like, you do freelance, you have communicated with the industry that this is, successful on your measure. And I think people trust that and think, okay, well, he's done it. So then it's not just some random person on an ESL forum answering a one-off question.
Right.
It's everything provided by somebody who knows.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we've had, I don't know, like about 120 have gone through it and have said good things about the community and, feeling more confident to make certain decisions and to move forward. Like, there's just several really amazing stories of not just in my course, but teachers that, in our Facebook group who have just sort of done the really hard things and scary things and tried to and made progress. I think it's just amazing when, like, a retired teacher who maybe taught in a public school for 30 years is now running their own teaching business at home, teaching on their own terms, charging
Yeah.
great money for it. I think it's
It's
so
inspirational.
amazing. Like someone that didn't have any of those skills, the tech skills, the marketing skills, like, I think it's so cool
Yeah.
that, yeah, that the
Yeah, and to
online
know
world
that
allows you.
there will be people in this cohort that starts next week now
Yeah,
that you can't say that everyone's going to have that level of success, but there are people
right.
in the cohort coming up who will have that level of success and beyond, really.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
you get
And
to experience and share those successes going forward with those people.
that's right. And, when it comes to like income and what you charge and stuff, I never say like, I will help you charge whatever per hour. It's not
Right.
really about that. But what I will say is I guarantee you that if you show up and do the work, that, you'll make progress in some form. It may not be the same as the next person's, but you will make some sort of progress.
Right.
And you will feel more confident about things. And the community is really great. That's the other awesome thing is, when you're doing it with other teachers, like I don't have all the answers necessarily, but doing it with other teachers at the same time, the exact same stuff is so cool because you can, really grow together and bounce ideas off of each other. So
Amazing. So
yeah.
the sort of group dynamic aside, when you set out to build the course, what did you aim to cover? Just roughly.
So I was really targeting a platform teacher who was wanting to sort of my ideal student in the course would be a platform teacher who didn't want to go back to a brick and mortar job and wanted to keep teaching their students. Maybe they had a couple of contacts on WeChat or whatever, and they just didn't maybe they'd been asked about classes. So that is generally the kind of teacher that joins the course. Although I've had teachers who are, don't want to teach Chinese students, but they've gotten different things from the course that that help them. I do talk specifically about the Chinese market in the course, but a lot of the sort of organizational stuff, the curriculum, well, I don't tell you what curriculum to use, but we talk about how to find curriculum and things like that.
What the options are, yeah.
Yeah, and sort of the marketing side of it, and as well as just getting the basics of a business set up. There's a lot in there, and it can apply to lots of different things. But I do tell people it is, you will, if you're teaching the Chinese market, there's more in there for you for that. So that's kind of who generally I was thinking about, is someone like me, right, that lost the VIP Kid job and wanted to keep teaching their students. So
yeah. And so where are the teachers located that have taken the course in the past? They're mostly
all
from
over.
the US?
Yeah, generally all over, but mostly, I would say mostly North American, British, South African, and then I tend to attract a lot of teachers that are in Southeast Asia, kind of doing what I do with being a little bit nomadic and a little bit, more, sort of a wandering traveling teacher, I guess. So I get some of those as well. And but generally I would say mostly would be North American sort of teachers. Yeah. That generally that worked on platforms of some sort in China. So that's kind of the focus of this course. Yeah. So.
Good. So if anybody's interested in learning more about Launch, how can they find that out?
Yeah. So you can go to onlineteacherdude.com/launch. So that's just my website /launch. And we're starting on Monday. So Monday the 14th and going until the 27th.
Okay.
And in that 2 weeks, I release 4 module trainings, and we do 4 live Zoom calls as well. And you get a Slack community with other teachers that have gone through it and are going through it with you. And we're also doing a special bonus, which is exciting in this one, with a teacher I had on my channel 2 weeks ago. And we're developing some material and walkthroughs of helping you find students on Chinese social media that's not WeChat specific, because WeChat's very hard to market on organically and reach beyond your contacts, as you probably know. So yeah, so that's going to be like an added bonus. And I do some trainings on platforms and, some sort of work groups on curriculum. And generally that's a big piece of the puzzle is, what do I teach? Like there's so many curriculums out there.
Because
So
chances are,
yeah,
if they were coming from a contracted role, all of that was supplied, wasn't it? So
exactly. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So there's a lot of, stress, I would say, around the curriculum piece. But there's great options like yours out there that people can jump into to kind of use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the beauty of independent teaching really is that you don't have to be confined to, let's say you become a subscriber of someone like Crystal Clear ESL curriculum. There's so much flexibility in being able to like take a break from that for a week and focus on maybe some specific grammar or something. So you go and find some resources on
Right.
that's outside of the curriculum. There's, no one, and I always tell teachers to not sell that you're only teaching, that you're guaranteeing this one lesson per class type of sequence, because then you really lock yourself into that, which is what what we were locked into with teaching with a company.
We don't have
So,
to.
yeah, we don't have to. Exactly. So
That's
yeah.
so great.
Yeah. So
Cool.
those are the details. And, I understand when you're making a purchase of anything, if you are interested in the course, that you might have questions. And if everything isn't answered on that page, then feel free to find me on Instagram. And that's probably the fastest way to contact me. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram and ask me questions like, is this for me? And I really will be 100% honest. I don't want anyone in the course to pay money for something that they're not going to get results from, because you're just
Right.
wasting your time. It doesn't look good on me, and I don't want that for you. So I would tell you, if this is going to be something that's for you or not. And yeah, it's sort of like turning away money, but that's really what I'm about. I'm about not like falsely misleading someone into something that isn't for them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
so
here to
reach out
help.
and let me know. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, please do reach out. If you search in Tim's group, Going Solo, or across the ESL groups, you will probably find referrals and recommendations from past participants in the course. It's sort of highly acclaimed. Yeah, you can be proud,
Thanks.
Tim. Yeah, for sure.
Are
I
you
mean,
seeing it in other groups? That's great. I created on the fly, like about a week ago, an affiliate program, and crossed my fingers that it was going to work. You never know with automations and
oh,
systems and things like that. So yeah, and it's working well. So
wow, good job.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that you had a busy run up to Christmas and that, and you were on the fence about running a third cohort. And I do get the feeling that it was really from popular demand that you're back.
Yeah, I was really like, I wanted to put the course as a course that you could purchase if you kind of went through my free content, and eventually it would be something that would kind of come onto your radar. And I still would probably go that route later on. I will change the whole structure of it, because it could be something it would be in sort of more bite-sized pieces and you could go through it on your own time. But for this, it's very action-packed for 2 weeks. Like you will work really hard if you want to do it in those 2 weeks. And it's full on, I'll admit, but it's not a fluffy like mindset kind of course. It's like we're here to get the work done. And by the end of the 2 weeks, if you haven't, I really want you to be able to have your first student or
Launch. Yeah.
basically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's
So
what people need. There's no sense sort of milling about for
yeah.
months on end when actually you need that financial freedom now. So something
Yeah.
that's really concise
And
and directed is
there was a great need in October, November, December for that, because it was kind of the end of a lot of companies. Like when VIP Kids sort of had that last day, that's when I think I had sort of launched the first one around that time. And there was a huge need for that in that moment. And sometimes I have people say, geez, I want to buy it, but I can't wait until February the 14th. So I have put people in the previous one if they need to, just get it right now. That's totally fine. But
wow.
there's something cool about kind of going through it,
With people.
you know, with a group, with people. So, yeah. So thanks so
Brilliant.
much for, chatting and,
Yeah, I
if
think
anyone has
teachers
any questions,
need a little helping hand, you know. So, and I see that you do a good job of it. So I wanted to help out. So thanks for joining me
thanks so much.
today.
Yes, thanks, Crystal. And
Oh,
I hope you feel better.
oh my gosh, we just have a comment from Mary who said she's done your course. It was great,
Hi,
and she
Mary.
went from not making money to 5 packages sold so far.
Yay! And here's the thing, like, it's not me that does that for you. It's you that does that for yourself. And there's something in our psyche when we invest in ourselves. Someone made a good point about this on a comment. I can't remember what it was. It was on a comment thread where somebody was talking about, oh, everyone's become a guru now, and everyone's selling the dream of fulfilling your mindset. I don't know what it was, but you know, it's really your mindset that will drive this, not your coach. Like, I provide the space and some tools and like a little bit of let's get it done and you can do this, rah, rah, rah. But like someone like Mary, you know, she made it happen on her own. Like, I wasn't in her office, you know, doing it with her. I was, you know, just her on. So it's possible. You can do it. If it's scary, then maybe this is the right course for you. If you're like, I got this, I just need to get it done. Maybe it's not, and that's okay too. You know, hope you can, still, be a part of the Facebook groups and learn from others. There's so much great free stuff out there.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to talk about it. I hope lots of aspiring freelance teachers benefit from what you have to offer. This was Crystal from Crystal Clear ESL and Tim, the online teacher dude, presenting about launch, which is starting again on the 14th of February. We will see everyone very soon. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Crystal. Bye, everyone.